Hello, everyone, and welcome to EFF's special edition State of the Nation Address podcast. Year after year, we have heard Cyril Ramaphosa make promises, make plans, promise things to us as a nation, but we never actually see the difference in our country. Unemployment is still high, GBV is still rising, cost of living is rising, while social services are getting lower and lower every single year. This is very disappointing that every single year we are presented with the rhetoric and beautiful promises of a great future, and yet each year there's never a report on the progress of these promises, nor is there a report on the developments of these plans. In fact, each year there is a new plan. Where is the transparency and the accountability? That is why, for the real state of the nation, this year, we went to the streets to ask the people of South Africa, ordinary people, what the real state of the nation of South Africa is, what their expectations of the SONA are, and whether or not there is still faith in the system that a State of the Nation address will ever reflect the true nature of our country, and whether or not our current leaders will ever deliver what is needed by the people of this country.
So I would like to ask that they make cheaper housing for everyone, because the houses is too expensive. How do they expect people to afford houses? They work, but they get a salary, but the salary is not enough to buy a house. So they must please provide cheaper houses for everyone and not make that millions of rands houses. How do they expect people to afford the houses?
So currently, as a person living in Cape Town, what are your challenges?
My challenge is I can't afford a house. I'm working, and I've been working for years, and I can't still afford a house. I've been trying and trying, but my salary is too little to afford to buy a house, because the houses prices go too much up, and it's over $1 million or something, and you have to afford over a certain amount of bracket, over like 10,000, 13,000 something. In order to afford a house, and I can't afford a house, and I'm like 40 years old, and I would like to afford a house or live on my own, and it's not right. The people can't find jobs now. There's a lot of crime also. They must please provide jobs for people, more like they can provide for themselves, and even with the non-profit organizations, they must try and help them also more, because the people can't even go to the non-profit organizations anymore because they lack of fund. They don't fund the people anymore. So yeah.
Placards that you want our country back from these criminals. This GNU nonsense has to stop, and that's it. And then I figure that I'm not supposed to stand there.
But ngabuni?
It's not a designated area. But I call it designated in the. I'm not supposed to stand on Kumiko.
So you're mentioning that you don't want JNU that has been giving you challenges. What are the challenges that you think that JNU is anazo?
They are. Do we have a country? Is this country our own country? South Africa, is it our country? The country is South Africa. We don't have a country. We've got a corrupt president. Our number one citizen is a corrupt to the core. Marikana, death, igazi. Lilapha ezandleni sika-president. Siyayazi phala. Into eyenzayo for abantu abamnyama kuqala. Wenza ntoni for abantu abamnyama?
So
akona yenzayo for abantu abamnyama president. Eyakhe into yakhe for uba makafake imali. And they are demonic. Baza kunye nezinto ezidemonic apha kule country. They are killing people instead. Konto bayenzayo for umuntu omnyama.
So expect bangathini namhlanje?
And andikwazi nomamela. Akona nza imamela sizana because waxoka from the start, and saba nethemba lobana uzakwenza into because wayithatha nge-renewal. Saba nethemba, but wenze ntoni? He's the worst president ever. Afanele bawubheke etrongweni phaa kwenye into efana uyakuyo Ramaphosa. Supposed to go to jail.
So what are the challenges that you're currently facing that makes you feel like you want to fight?
Unemployment, crime, corruption, poverty, abantu balapha kulo Mzantsi Africa, they are abalingani yayazi. Akho country unequal like South Africa. There's no country unequal like South Africa. Even nabo shem baphansi koxinezelelo aba bamilayo bazanthatha bangixexamise namhlanje. Baphansi koxinezelelo lekurhulumente sinawo ocorrupt osaphethwe ngamabhulu phofu okwayo phethwe ngamabhulu since then.
What do you think should
30 years yamabhulu okokoko kuphethe bona yazi mnotho usemabhulwini and bona they were paid for apartheid njengoba thina singazange sabhatalwa nje for apartheid.
So what do you think should be done?
Urhulumente kaRamaphosa makahambe, iGNU mayihambe, kufuneka abantu baqale ekuqaleni, kubhatalwe abantu ke baqalise kujonga abantu abahluphekileyo baseMzantsi Afrika because abakhathalelwanga mntu.
Sector uRamaphosa ne asi-addresse ngomsebenzi because apha eSouth Africa umsebenzi asinawo siyasokola, but most of the time bongafika as a student ama-Nigeria agcwele ungafika uya esipoint kugcwele abantu i-foreigners. Thina abantu bamnyama sinamsebenzi.
I feel like Ramaphosa is going to give us the same promises abesinika zona for the past 8 years. We have no universities. Employment is at an all-time high. Do you know what I mean? Akho misebenzi. Akho development. There's so many things happening. Do you know what I mean? We have so many commissions, but no justice is served. So uzawuthatha lento udala wayithetha uzakhe izindlu eziyimillion Alexandra 6 years ago. Uzawuphinda loo nto iyi-1 azubakho. I hate that president, and I feel like South Africa should just unite and take him out. Don't vote for the DA though. Vote for anything else, but not ANC, not the DA. I think the youth, the keyboard warriors, they sit behind the keyboards, they complain, but they never take any physical action. They never protest. Do you know what I mean? They're just not doing enough. But I'm not going to entirely blame it on them. It's part of the system. There's so many distractions. No TikToks and Goku. Unemployment. So I just feel like there's so much divide because of the system that was created. I feel like it's all part of the system. We have so many people that are bayazi into edibene nevotes. Ugogo wami ucinga ba iANC xa inophuma in power, igrant izawuphela. We have so much voter illiteracy. Do you know what I mean? I feel like if abantu would go to schools, educate abantwana about the power of their votes, do you know what I mean? And the fact about it's all in our hands. We can change the state of South Africa by voting only. Because but if you're not going to take action, nothing is going to happen. That is the only way to get your voice heard, in my opinion. So people should vote. AIC is doing nothing. I educate. I want in the advert no voter cards are vote, but there's never anything throughout the year to vote when the time comes or educate them.
Expectations namhlanje, I hope President angatouch kwi-areas the unemployment. I think the unemployment rate, especially for the youth, is very high, and also in terms of housing issue, especially in Cape Town, the housing crisis hopefully is going to touch on that. And also, most importantly, I think crime, because that's a crime. They're very killers, they're very high, and anytime at Cape Town, especially Cape Town, you know. So I don't know, there's going to be changes. President will obtain it, but I wish at least attach on unemployment and also a crime and also in the education. Yeah, but 30 years is in this is but I don't think it's enough. I think government needs to do more, and also asapili go 1994 or 2000. Now in 2025, you know, government needs to fast track changes and also needs to fast track in terms of delivery and citizens. You understand? So I think it was going to changes as core, but I think government needs to do more, especially with the GNU. I think the expectations there were very high, yeah, but especially when the government joined on the GNU, we thought, okay, things will start going to be moving, but perhaps maybe it's still too early to judge, yeah, but I think it time second about uchinjo ukhulumende ngalenza ibhlungu lento because nam I was part of the victim ye crime apha eKapa hijacking. I think that was 2024. Yeah. I don't think there's anything government ayenzayo or even let alone uyenza any plan to attack a crime around Cape Town. So I don't think there's any plan. I don't think ikhona into eyenzayo. City has deployed law enforcement, but it-tangible results azibonakali on the ground. You understand? We still get affected. So I don't know mhlambi intervention bangenza njani since Cape Town is too complex according to bona. But I do hope mhlambi they can make changes or change leadership. SEBs. Yeah, understand, especially on the province. Put someone umntu ozoba visible on the ground, because the current SEBs leader in the province ayibonakali. Noba kwenzeke i-crime scene enkulu ayibonakali. Noba kubulewa abantu abayi-7 or even more than that ekhayelitsha soze umbone. The only thing ayenza uhlelo office. So zininzi izikhalazo, especially when it comes to i-policing apha Western Cape. Ngaske i-leadership emapolisa ivuke ibonakala on the ground. Maybe xa ibonakala even i-criminals will start like hiding and stuff like that. Yeah, I think maybe we need to revise democracy yethu, you know. Maybe amend a few things, because we're no longer living back in the days, you understand? To accommodate as challenges is faced as a country, you understand? So I do think we need to revise there and there. But all in all, the structure is there, but it's just a matter of parliament here to deliberation on the promises and everything. Because we do see a voter now and again, but then there's no delivery, there's no tangible delivery on the manifestos, these political parties, or even manifestos, the government themselves, you understand? So ngaske zibekho amendments there and there, but most importantly mabasebenze ba-implement as promises bazenzayo.
Uzosho into efana naleyo ishilo lokuqala nje, asisalindele lutho kuye. I-ANC nje yonke nje ihlulekile. Mina ngase-KZN ihlulekile yonke indawo. Ihlulekile la eWestern Cape, ihlulekile KZN, ihlulekile eGauteng, ngeke ngasebenza nase-Gauteng. Kusho ukuthi abantu abahlulekile angisayithembi nje. Ayisekho into engayenza ukusuka ku-41% next election izoya go down to something 35. Usirili ngeke esho lutho ekuhlukile nale yaqala wayisho.
Bengicela boss, uhulumende wethu we-democracy una 30 years yonke ngoku. Zikhona onozibala ukuthi hayi at least uzamile.
Ayenza njengamanje into ayenzile mina engishoyo njengomuntu obukayo nje uhlulekile, ngoba last time uma wafunda kwakunoTEPSA uyenhlezi ethi waba noNSFAS. uTEPSA wawukhona kuqala into efana noNSFAS. Ama-RDP lawathi akhona ayafana nama-hostel. Kusho ukuthi yabo, kusho ukuthi ayikho into ayenzile for rail. Wababulala izitimela wawenza into yakhe engasile ama-truck. Uhlulekile compare i-apartheid kakhulu, ufailile. Into eziningi ufailile. Ayikho into ababhetha ngayo.
Ucimba yini isisombululo?
Ukuthi kuphume ANC.
People are still struggling regarding housing, especially in the back areas. They can make a plan, and around town, people are living on the streets.
Do you think that the current...
Regarding the grants, they must increase the grants. The little that giving to the children is unacceptable. 370, I think, per child. And there's a lot of unemployment going around. And gangsterism, that's a cause of the gangsterism, because people is not working and they're selling drugs for a living. I think especially you can check in Rivendale, Manneberg, Hanover Park, etc. There's the little police available also. The crime rate is too high. And according to the newspapers, the mass shootings, Crossroads, Philippi East, that's not on. No, not at all. Some people say we need again the white government, but they all are the same. Money is getting stolen. You can't point the finger who's taking the money. That's all.
Mina, I'm a student, ne, at CPUT. I don't have a rest. I don't have a place to sleep, nah. I'm still at temporary rest. And then they've been telling us that they're gonna fix that thing of accommodation even now. Monday I'm starting with my classes. I still don't have any rest. Yabo. Yeah, and a bangata. Harina rest. Now, isn't it now?
My expectation is to see the outcome, man. We don't only want to hear them talking, but the results, there must be evidence in what they are saying. You see, sister, that is how I feel, man. To see results. Now, there's a lot of differences here in the city of Cape Town, you see. But if we look at the other side, there's no difference. Only here in the eyes of the people, you see. But there in the ghetto, there's no difference. You see, I'm actually from Delft, man. But now there, everything is the same. The people, I don't know if the people, they don't want to come and look for a job, but it's like they are trapped inside the ghetto, you see. For them to come out, it's not easy. I don't know why they don't want to come in. And the land is so beautiful here. But for them to come and experience here, I don't know what is wrong, sister. They are only stuck there. They don't want to take part in what we call how do you call it? In the parliament, the things of the government. To be active, yes, you see, sister, that is also what I'm seeing. Now the people must just try and help themselves. They must help themselves before they complain or want to cry out for help from other people. You must help yourself first. You see, like me, I say, bomb piece is finished. I'm helping myself, so the next person gonna see me. They're gonna see this guy is willing to put in the energy. You see, but if you just sit there and complain, nothing, there's gonna be no help. First, help yourself.
Then could address the certain societal issues that are happening here in our country. So, yes.
You know, the social issues like drug abuse, crime, rape, and all of those stuff. Try to stop it. And also about like the GBV thing is, we don't like the GBV thing is. We also like, we as girls, we don't feel safe around people because like we insecure, because like we scared of like, you see, because there's men like rape and all those things and abuse, all those things happening there, and like Ramaphosa should speak up and like those men should like the girls and all those things should get justice, because like some of the other girls who get raped or abused don't get justice, and we as girls will love to see other women getting justice so that like we can feel safe around everyone here.
We sit in the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education and Training, as well as an alternate in the Portfolio Committee of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability. Of course, central focus of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education this year will be the finalization of the student debt cancellation bill. We've gone through all the comments, taken public comments, we've done all the necessary consultations. What is left now is to consolidate all that the public has brought to the EFF in terms of how they see that particular bill being resolved. Thereafter, it will be presented in the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education. It must pass the desirability test, it must pass the constitutionality test, and then ultimately it must be presented before Parliament and all 400 members of Parliament. It is going to sit on their conscience whether or not they are going to side with the students of South Africa who are owing the universities money and are unable to access their degrees and their qualifications. So student debt is going to be a central point of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education. Of course, amongst other things, holding the executive accountable, ensuring thorough oversight over institutions that fall under the Department of Higher Education and Training. And as far as the Portfolio Committee on Youth and Persons with Disabilities is concerned, we're going to be scrutinizing what is the real work of the National Youth Development Agency, how are they contributing to assisting young people to open small businesses so that we can resolve the issues of unemployment in South Africa. So it's going to be a very busy year. It is an election year. So we've got a responsibility to use the pressure point of an election to press government in resolving key issues that they would otherwise delay. So want to see if this government is going to side with the youth of South Africa or it's going to continue sitting and resting on their laurels. Thank you.
My name is Sinawo Tambo. I'm the national spokesperson of the EFF. So in Parliament, I sit in the Standing Committee on Finance, the Portfolio Committee on Trade, Industry and Competition, and the Portfolio Committee on Communications and Digital Technologies. Some of the key priorities this year that I think we're going to be focusing on in each portfolio committee. Number one, in the Communications Committee, I think our key priority is to ensure that we secure funding for the South African Broadcasting Corporation, which we are now told that it has been denied 120 million in funding to cover the 2026 elections. I think this is something all South Africans should be focused on and caring about. The SABC is the only broadcaster that has all official languages, is able to reach our people on radio and on television. And to cut 120 million from its funding should be considered as voter suppression, because it's going to increase the low voter turnout trend that we've seen over successive elections. But it is also going to suppress the national broadcast from being able to show service delivery failures in society, which we know the ANC has been calling the SABC out on over many years and over many elections. So we must ensure that the SABC gets funding. We must ensure that we intensify our fight to stop Starlink from coming to South Africa, which we know is owned by Elon Musk, who has been trying to leverage business in this country using disinformation of a white genocide. In the Portfolio Committee on Trade, Industry and Competition, I think we must focus on saving the steel industry, saving the automotive industry, which we have seen retrench a lot of workers and which has been complaining about what it characterizes as dumping of steel from many nations such as China. So we need to build a mutually beneficial relationship with our trade partners and ensure that we are able to secure new trade partners away from the United States of America. And in the Standing Committee on Finance, some of the key priorities include a lot of legislation, such as the insourcing bill, where we want to ensure that the state and all departments of government employ workers internally and stop relying on consultancy firms for basic services. There's the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, which seeks to regulate foreign loans through Parliament. So this trend and tendency of taking loans from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund without any regulatory authority or guidance from Parliament must come to an end. And of course, the South African National Reserve Bank Amendment Bill, which seeks to nationalize the Reserve Bank so that we control monetary policy. So those are some of the key areas that we seek to focus on in the year 2026.
Gama lami nguSibongile Makoti Khawula and Member of Parliament odeployed EFF. Lapha sinenkinga yokuthi njalo njengoba safika la eParliament from 2020 2014 sinenkinga yamanzi, abantu abanawo amanzi, umhlaba wonke unento efanayo, amanzi ayanqanyulwa ngamabomu ngenhlonso yokufaka ama-water gun. 2, ama-toilet ayanuka emalokishini, but kwezinye indawo kugijima indle njengaseGoli nje komndeni, ama-toilet ayagijima indle. Uma ngithi ama-toilet ngizaba ukubeka ngembaba. Uhulumeni okhona kanendaba nabantu abamnyama, because yena uyazi ukuthi akanankinga yena uhlala ey'ndaweni zabadla izambane likapondo. Okubuhlungu kunakho konke, kunabantu lana emakhaya abadla amaphilisi, kunabantu lana njengoba ngikhuluma nawe nje abagezwayo usuku nosuku obufuna beshintshiwe banikwa amaphilisi kuze bakwazi nabeyithole bephila amanzi awekho. Ey'koleni njengoba ngikhuluma nawe njena eFenteni ngoLwesibili iy'ngane ziphume ngo-10 ngenxa yokuthi amanzi awekho. Lokho kukhombisa ukuthi ugovernment akanayo inkinga nomphakathi. Ey'koleni sikhona isikole ekuthiwa Isakhe Sizwe eWard 10 eWard 7 nakhona iy'kole zakhona azinawo amanzi, iy'ngane funa zizihambe ziyokha amanzi emfuleni oyingozi obonayo ukuthi nabantu futhi lapho abantwana bangareshwa nabantu iy'mpilo zabo ayibhekelekile. Kade sasikhuluma indaba yamanzi, akekho noyedwa umuntu ocabangayo e-Eastern Cape isona esikhulu futhi nakhona Giyane banento efanayo, Free State indle igcwele yonke indawo amanzi awekho. Kusho ukuthi nje ayikho iprovince lana enabantu khona abamnyama enamanzi. Ibhedlela uthola ukuthi umuntu limele ngabe ugwaziwe angithi uyazi ukuthi umuntu mangabe eya kudokotela udokotela before or unesi adlulele kwesinye isiguli funa aqala washe izandla kodwa manje uthola ukuthi akakwazi ukwasha izandla akakwazi ukusiza isiguli amanzi engekho siyinkinga esibhekene nawo ungahamba manje uye eNewtown C uzothola ukuthi amanzi awekho bazotrithwa kanjani abantu kodwa njalo makukhulunywa ngalento yesona ugovernment ulokhu ethembisa into eyingekho ezingenzeki yini inkinga na thina sifika la eParliament sakhala ngalento yamathenda ukuthi amathenda iyona kanye lento eyinkinga elimaza abantu bakithi ngoba amazi bavala ngamabomu ngikhumbula nje last year sasihambile sobona ilokhuzana amadamu ngoba babe kade bekhala ukuthi amanzi awekho emadameni masithi siyafika amadamu wonke amanzi akhona agcwele kodwa inkinga yibona laba abangafuni ukuthi abantu bakwazi bathola amanzi ngoba bona bayagaina ngama-waterkan usizi lomuntu wala eSouth Africa west kunoma liye phambili luhlehlela emuva so kwale SONA nje to me ngibuka mina idlala ngabantu lokwesinge isikhathi sabantu abazohlala belalele into yonke njenge engayiphambili.
Yeah, my name is Mazwit Nose. I serve in the Portfolio Committee of Transport. Look, for us, some of the key priorities obviously is to try and get the infrastructure of the road back working. There are just way too many trucks on our road. Government has deliberately collapsed Transnet. There's a lot of privatization that is happening in that entity. PRASA is really not working, even though government promises every year that they are going to invest a lot of money in that sector, but nothing seems to be happening. We just came now from the festive season. The dead numbers on our roads remain extremely high. We've got a huge concern in terms of the scholar transport, where our kids keep being transported like sardines on a yearly basis, and they keep dying on our roads because of unsafe and unreliable scholar transport systems, which the government is really not interested in serving. So we are going to listen to the SONA today, and hopefully the government is going to address some of these issues, but they've made promises before and nothing has really transpired. There's systematic collapse in the entities of transport. We've seen it, the collapse in those entities, the corruption that is happening there, and still there's no accountability, and there are no people that are being held accountable for systematically collapsing our entities and privatizing our entities in an attempt to make sure that they do not, operate in a meaningful manner that could create jobs and that could really get our people, to use the transport sector effectively in a way that is needed. The aviation sector is a mess. Flights, are exploiting our people. The prices are too high. Our people cannot afford to fly simply because, entities like the South African Airways are still not functional. They are not operational, and they are being collapsed right under our watch. So we'll watch the SONA with great anticipation. But yeah, we're really not hopeful for much. Thank you.
My name is Nazir Paulson. I am a member of Parliament representing the Economic Freedom Fighters. I serve on the Portfolio Committee for Electricity and Energy, and and an alternative member on the Portfolio Committee for Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. Outside of those two committees, there will be a very important multi-portfolio committee sitting this year that will look into the violence on the Cape Flats. Last year, the crime stats released for on the 27th of November last year indicated that over the preceding quarter, 228 murders occurred on the Cape Flats. The police stations where the highest number of murders are reported is Umfuleni, Kraaifontein, and Guguletu. So that means that especially, and that is in the entire country, so it means that the Cape Flats is the most violent area in South Africa and in the Western Cape. and it requires serious intervention from Parliament, and that multi-portfolio committee will then ensure that there is an accountability across the various portfolio committees to address the root causes of the crime and violence on the Cape Flats.
Sanbonani, greetings everybody. Kamala Munaledi Chirwampungose, a member of the National Assembly sitting the Portfolio Committee of Health. Some amongst our key priorities for the year 2026 is making a follow-up on the stakeholder engagements that we have had in the joint committees. I think it's social development and health that have been doing public hearings, engaging with different departments and provinces on the issue of statutory rape, because what we picked up as the EFF following the motion that we did in Parliament last year in August was that there is no reporting mechanism that is at our disposal in our healthcare facilities, in schools, where you find ingane from 9 years, 10 years old of age, sitting in classrooms, delivering pregnancies in hospitals and clinics, and yet there's no cases of statutory rape that are being facilitated to be opened with the SAPS. And this is one of the recommendations that we are bringing up as the EFF as well during the stakeholder engagements, that there must be a coordinated system that's devised by the department, and not just leave it at Form 22, but there must be a system that is able to protect the victim, that is able to protect the healthcare workers and the teachers who facilitate this process. Another thing that we're busy with in the Portfolio Committee of Health that we are going to raise as the EFF is to write to the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee to require that the minister appears in a Portfolio Committee in a physical meeting. Kunethenda ye-HIV okungathi bayayibhotsha 15 billion that has seen the government halt the previous tenders that have been brought out because of collusion issues. But the new companies that have received these tenders are also being subordinate of the very same companies that were ousted out of this tendering process. So we'll be engaging the Portfolio Committee chairperson to seek that the minister comes in so we get accountability on what those particular issues are. And another key priority that we are focusing on, particularly as the EFF and the Portfolio Committee of Health, is looking into abandoned, neglected projects, because we went to the Mpumalanga province not too long ago, Emapulaning Hospital. It's a project that was initiated in 2020 and it cost 3 billion rand. The money is spent, but there's still no state-of-the-art hospital, and there has to be accountability, because what we've picked up is that there's a well-coordinated system that sees tenders being botched and no repercussions happening. What we see is that there'll be one tenderer to the next contract, and it's just a never-ending cycle where there's no accountability. And one of our recommendations in regards to Mapula name is that the SIU must investigate that particular project and recuperate all the monies that were stolen, because it can't just end on blacklisting of companies. The same directors, the same owners leave those companies, register other companies. And the government has to take accountability on that too, on the fact that in some of these projects that they lead, they will know that the contractor has a 50% completion rate, and yet still give them a tender project that amounts to a lot of money, but without any sure system to ensure that that particular project will be completed. So abandoned, neglected healthcare facilities are some of the things that will be high on our radar in this particular year as the EFF in the Portfolio Committee of Health.
My name is Ngobile Mshongo, a member of the EFF Central Command Team deployed to the Portfolio Committee of International Relations and Cooperation. This year in the committee, we'll be championing following on the issue of the African Union 2025 theme, which seek to speak about justice for Africans and African descendants and true reparations. Now, what does that mean economically for people of South Africa? What does it mean for people of Africa and Africans in the diaspora? Politically, economically, socially, and culturally. So those are the issues we'll be following up. We have discovered in the committee that there's no practical steps that the minister or the government of South Africa is doing in that regard. Secondly, we're doing oversight in our SADC missions. We discovered that there's a lot of vacancies when it comes to trade attaches, which we feel is something very important in foreign policy implementation or issues of international relations. When you look economically, trade agreements that are signed, they do not benefit the ordinary South African citizens or small SMMEs. Another thing we wanted to highlight is the issue that now as we head to local government elections, we'll see a lot of small parties mushrooming using the xenophobic card, saying that they will chase away Africans from South Africa in the municipalities. Yet you will know that issues of international relations or diplomatic relations is not vested in municipalities. It is a portfolio, a department that is only found at the national level. As per the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, it is only the President and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, or in our case, Minister of International Relations, that can tackle issues of foreign issues. Then you will find these small parties that are going to campaign saying that Mabahambe, they are going to chase away Africans in South Africa, of which is not true. Local government elections is solely for the purpose of service delivery, which speaks to water, provision of water, collection of refuse, and basic services that are done by the municipality, which is your cutting of grass and so forth. So you will find political parties that are going to campaign using that card, trying to say to South Africans, EFF is protecting foreign nationals, whereas they have not read the immigration question of the EFF. The EFF is championing that as Africans we must unite in order for us to trade with one another, in order to boost the economies of each other in Africa. Because if we have become one trading bloc, therefore it means there's more opportunities for us. The smaller economies that are struggling, that could be sustained and be helped with the assistance of uniting Africa.
My name is Tapelo Mokhale. I'm a member of Parliament serving in the Portfolio Committee on Home Affairs. For this year, the first important issue that will be at the top of our agenda is to ensure that the private members bill on automatic voter registration that was sponsored by the President will get to be on the agenda of the Portfolio Committee, so that the process in terms of ultimately making that private members bill an act of Parliament or a law will kickstart. So there will be engagement at the committee level, including public consultations, while once the bill has been accepted and approved by the committee. And secondly, the other major important thing that we would be focusing on is around issues of the quality of service that people receive when they visit the Home Affairs offices around the country. I think all South Africans can agree that there are serious challenges within the Department of Home Affairs, and they present themselves in various forms. The system which is constantly down, the lack of staff in some of the offices, and the corruption in terms of the queue management, where people need to pay just for them to get a spot on the queue. So those are some of the issues that we will be tackling this year. And we will be inviting the different provincial managers of Home Affairs to come to the committee to give us a detailed report on some of these issues that are happening in their respective provinces. So we are going to hold them accountable in that regard.